All right, so today we're going to dive into something called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT for short. And what's so great about it? Well, it's one of the most practical, well-researched ways to get a handle on your mental wellness. This isn't about some, abstract theory. It's all about giving you a real deal toolkit of skills to actually manage your own mind.
Okay, so to really understand what makes CBT so powerful, we have to start with the problem it's built to solve. And it's a feeling I think we all know way too well, that downward spiral. You know the one that can take over your whole day after just one tiny little mistake. I mean, seriously, have you ever had that happen where one simple thing goes wrong and suddenly, bam, it feels like this dark cloud just parks itself right over your head and it just colors everything that happens for the rest of the day? It's wild, right? Let's break this down with a super classic example. The situation? It's simple. You burn the dinner. Whoops. But watch what happens next. That's the important part. An automatic thought just pops into your head. Something like, I'm worthless. I can't do anything right. Sound familiar? And that thought, well, it leads directly to a feeling. You start feeling inadequate, maybe even hopeless. And the result of that feeling, your behavior changes. You might pull away from your family at the table, or maybe you start avoiding other little tasks because you're scared you're just going to mess those up too. That right there, that's the downward spiral in action. So, the big question is, how do you break that cycle? How do you stop it in its tracks? Well, it all starts with a really powerful idea. And what's crazy is it's an idea that's been around for literally thousands of years. Okay, this lays out the core idea perfectly. The event itself, it's totally neutral. A friend doesn't text you back. That's it. But look at the two totally different stories we can tell ourselves about that same event. Story number one, I must have done something wrong. They're definitely mad at me. That leads to feeling anxious, right? Now, story number two, they're probably just busy. And how do you feel then? Pretty much neutral. See that? It's the exact same event, but you get completely different emotional results. It's all about the story. And, like I said, this isn't some new age idea. We're talking ancient wisdom here. The Greek philosopher Epictetus was saying this almost 2,000 years ago. It's such a profound thought, right? Our interpretation, the story we tell ourselves, is actually more powerful than the thing that happened. Okay, so if our thoughts are really that powerful, then how do we actually work with them, like in a structured, practical way? Well, that's exactly where the framework of cognitive behavioral therapy comes in. So what is CBT? The crucial part is right here in the definition. It's a type of therapy that literally helps you learn how to first identify and then change those really destructive thought patterns. You know, like that I'm worthless thought we had with the burnt dinner. It's all about catching those thoughts that have a negative influence on how you feel and act. It's basically about becoming aware of your own mental habits. And really, it all boils down to this interconnected loop. You've got your thoughts, your feelings, and your behaviors, and they're all constantly influencing each other. Think of it like a three-way feedback loop. It's a cycle that can definitely spiral us down, but, and this is the good news, it can also work in reverse. CBT is what teaches you how to consciously step into that cycle and nudge it in a positive direction. All right, enough with the theory. Let's talk about how this actually works in the real world. The best way to think about CBT isn't as just one big idea, but more like a toolkit, you know? One that's filled with practical, totally learnable skills. And inside this toolkit, you've got a whole range of stuff. There are foundational skills like just getting good at spotting those negative thoughts when they pop up, but there are also more active techniques like goal setting, really methodical problem solving, and something called self-monitoring, which a lot of the time just means keeping a diary to start seeing your own patterns over time. Let's zoom in on just one of these so you can see how structured this is. Take problem solving. In CBT, this isn't just about thinking harder about something. No way. It's a super clear 5-step process. First, you identify the real problem. Second, you brainstorm a bunch of potential solutions. No bad ideas at this stage. Third, you evaluate the pros and cons of each one. Fourth, you pick just one to try out. And then, and this part is so crucial, you actually do it. And then you review how it went. See? It's a very deliberate step-by-step approach. So, you might be thinking, why go through all this trouble? Well, here's the thing. CBT isn't just about putting out today's fire. It's about building a skill set that's going to last you a lifetime. And that right there is really the ultimate goal. CBT is designed to help you develop coping skills that you can use long after therapy is over. In a way, it empowers you to become your own therapist, building this really durable long-term resilience.
And this isn't just feel-good stuff. The evidence backing this approach is just enormous. Seriously, it's one of the most well-studied forms of therapy on the planet. We're talking huge analyses looking at thousands of studies that have all shown that CBT has really high response rates. It's proven to be super effective for a whole range of conditions, everything from anxiety and depression to eating disorders.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap of the big takeaways here. Number one, our interpretation of events, the story we tell, is what creates our feelings, not the events themselves. Number two, our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are all locked together in this powerful cycle. Number three, CBT gives us practical, proven tools to consciously step into that cycle and change it for the better. And finally, and maybe most importantly, these aren't just abstract concepts. They are learnable skills that you can use to build real, long-term mental wellness.
Because really, the true power of CBT isn't in knowing about it, it's in actually using it. So I want to leave you with a little challenge, a question to think about. Based on everything we've just talked about, what's just one automatic thought, one of those burnt dinner reactions, that you could choose to consciously challenge this week?